Now that the Tampa Bay Lightning has captured hockey's ultimate prize, the organization is determined to stay on top. One key element in that plan is the successful development of its future stars. On this edition of Inside the Lightning, we'll take you to rookie camp, where young players get their first taste of professional hockey and their first chance to prove themselves. To get to the NHL, he has to pass a series of tests. And for many of the Lightning's top prospects, the first opportunity to prove themselves takes place about 1,400 miles due north of Tampa, in Traverse City, Michigan.
We came in here and had a meeting the very first night we got here, and we laid out what our expectations were. And I made it very clear, our expectations are to come in here and win the tournament. That's the only reason we're here. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, yes, we talk about evaluating, yes, we talk about guys earning a spot at the big camp, but if we're not here to win, then we're not coming. I mean, that's the bottom line on it, and that's the expectation we have. And I told them, I want to win this thing, and then I want the guys that are turning pro to win the Springfield, and I want to win the Calder Cup. And then I want those guys to move on to Tampa, and I want them to win the Stanley Cup. And that's what organizationally the expectation has to be.
This is a great tournament. It's classified as a prospects tournament, and the competition's a little higher level than you would have as far as college goes and for the junior ranks. So because you do have some players that have 1 year pro experience. In our case, you look at Ryan Gregg and so forth, Susie. These guys have 1 year pro under their belt, and so is Holmquist, but they are participating. So the level of play is higher. Gives us a chance as a management team to view these players and see how their conditioning went over the summer, and hopefully their skill level improves.
I think the great thing about having a tournament like this is that you get to evaluate the kids against other kids from other organizations, which is extremely important because of their age. It's not a great age differential, so you can understand where your players are at. So it's a great chance for everybody to see all our young players at once, collectively, and against other players of the same caliber. So it's a great tool for us. And it's a great experience for them to be able to come into this situation, work with professional coaches, understand the pro game to a certain extent, and then they can kind of build from there. So it's a great tool.
Our whole scouting staff is here from all over the world to view our players, and it is serious. And I think it's important that the young players that are competing take their situation very seriously too, that they're being viewed very closely. And I know from their heart that they don't want to be a disappointment. And we get a chance to view them and rate them.
I think that when you look at this group that we have here, we probably have 4, 5, maybe 6 forwards that we think have legitimate chances of becoming National League players. And then on the blue line, probably 4 or 5 guys there that we think legitimately down the road can develop. That's why Springfield's so important. That's why the minor league system is so important. You know, none of these guys are necessarily ready today, but certainly these are guys that are going to be ready as we move along and as we get them playing within our system, get them playing our style of hockey, playing for our coach, our coaching staff. We think they're going to make the steps that they need to. We're trying to lay the foundation right now.
Rookie camp isn't all business. The Lightning also uses it to show the players that hard work doesn't go unnoticed. In Traverse City, General Manager Jay Feaster rewarded his team's efforts by bringing the Stanley Cup to town for a special viewing.
I think that for those guys to see it, to see that, they're watching the Game 7, the video of Game 7 at the time, you know, it's important because they recognize, geez, this is what this organization expects of me. This is what I'm part of now. You know, we told them in that very first meeting that you're representing the Stanley Cup champions, and it goes to how you conduct yourself on the ice and off the ice. And that's what we want to be, a championship organization.
I was there for Game 7 and in the dressing room when they won it. And it's every time you see it, you get that same feeling. You kind of get a knot in your stomach and you get a little nervous and don't want to get too close and don't want to touch it, that's for sure, until you win it.
Pretty exciting, you know, you see the cup here and how many great players' names are on there, you know, that touch it and raise it above their head, you know, it's kind of exciting, you know, it kind of wants to make you, get into the league and win it.
It's one of the most biggest things in sports, this Stanley Cup, probably one of the hardest things to win, to me, out of any sport, and just to be around it's pretty amazing. To be part of the Stanley Cup champion organization is even better, and it's pretty cool just being around here, the whole thing, and everyone's taking a look at it, but no touching, It's really no touching, so hopefully one day I'll get a chance.
This isn't everyone's first go-around here in Traverse City. 2002 8th-round pick Ryan Craig took part last September and made such an impression that he's been selected to be the team captain this year.
Last year I was rewarded with an NHL invitation, and I think basically it's just worry about yourself. I mean, yeah, the better the team does, the better you will do, obviously. But I mean, you can't change a game. You can't come in here if you're a scorer and all of a sudden decide you don't really feel like scoring, or if you're just a stay-at-home defenseman and try and do too much. I think you just have to play the game. They draft you for a reason because they like what they saw, and you just have to continue to develop and get better.
Certain guys I think are natural leaders, and they demonstrate that. It's not that they're looking to be the take charge guys, but people gravitate to them because they are leaders. And we saw that last year here. From the very first time we came to this tournament and saw other players interact with him, it was clear that he was the guy they went to. He was the leader among equals.
Craig, he's an unreal captain. He's a good leader in the dressing room, and he's really came out in this tournament to play. He's doing what he's got to do out there. He's back checking. He's laying a body and good role model for a lot of young guys and myself.
He understands the concept of not only do they need to be a team on the ice when they're together at the rink, they also have to have things in common off the ice together, doing things, whether it's be golfing, going fishing, whatever it is. There's a combination of that team concept. And he understands that very well. And I think that that's something that comes very natural to him.
He's got a year of professional hockey under his belt, and he just knows what it takes to win because he's overcome a lot to get where he is. He's had to work really hard, and he understands that's what you have to do to succeed.
I've worked hard over the summer to give myself the best chance to be placed where I belong. I'll have no regrets whenever that happens. But it's to win a championship. Whatever team I'm on when playoffs come around, it's all about winning. Playoffs are the funnest time of your life, and you can't replace it for anything.
Along with Craig, several other prospects haven't wasted any time impressing the scouts and front office brass, watching their every move here in Traverse City.
Mike Egner is a guy that we're very, very high on in terms of we think that he fits the mold, the prototypical Tampa Bay Lightning player. He's big, he's strong, he skates very well, and he has great character. He's very, very coachable. I'm anxious to see what happens when he's in the minors and he has the opportunity to be coached by Phil Russell and by Dirk Graham. And then as he moves along to the NHL level and gets the coaching from Craig Ramsey, he is a physical stay-at-home defenseman, and yet he's a very mobile defenseman.
Well, they've already seen me play, and they know what they're getting. So I don't try and do anything different than what I do as a hockey player. I just go and play. Try not to let that kind of stuff worry me. Scouts in the stands and stuff. They know what I can do and stuff. So I just play simple and hard how I play. That's all I got to do out there, and everything will work out well if I just go and have fun with it and not worry about it too much.
You go to forward, you look at a player like a Darren Reed. Just as Egner and Rogers are kind of those prototypical guys in the blue line, I think that Reed is that up front. He is a big, strong kid. He skates very well. He's a hard-nosed kid. He competes. He's a guy who's very, very coachable, has great character. We think he has leadership abilities, and he's a guy that we expect big things from. He's a very confident player. He went back and had a great overage year this past year in junior out in the Western League. Very tough, very physically demanding league. And I think that when you watch him, I think he carries himself like a pro player. I think he recognizes what it takes to be a pro, and I'm anxious to see him this year in Springfield.
There's always a lot of pressure when you come to these kind of tournaments, kind of camps. But you just got to play the way you play. They watch you, and they picked you because of the way you play. You just got to come out here and do what you've been doing for the past couple of years, and and there is a little pressure, but just got to kind of rise above it. Not worry about who's in the stand. Just got to worry about the ice and do what you do out there.
A guy who's a real sleeper, and I think has a chance to play for us, not necessarily in this coming season, not necessarily in 04-05, but down the road, is a Nick Tarnasky. He skates very well. He's a very big guy. He's very strong physically, and he gives that second effort every time he's out there.
Keep improving, keep getting better. Same thing, boys, competing. I'm a teacher. I enjoy teaching the game to the kids. I enjoy helping them understand some of the things that are maybe coming up, some of the obstacles that they're going to come up against, because I've been over those hurdles as a player. I played 5 years in the minor leagues before I made it to the NHL, so I know a lot of the hurdles that they're going to overcome. So I enjoy that part, and in teaching them that, you need to talk to them, you need to help them understand. But also, on the other hand, you have to sometimes use some tough love, and that involves, maybe raising your voice every now and then. But I've experienced, my experience in coaching before is you can't do that on a consistent basis because it wears thin after a while.
You guys start it. Here we go. Two guys at the same time. Yeah, that's it. Good passes here, boys. Good passes.
I think Graham's a guy that's done everything in hockey. Played in the minor leagues. He's had a stellar career at the NHL level. He's been captain of an NHL team, head coach of an NHL team, scouted, assistant coach. He's done everything. So he's a guy that you can look at and look to advice for anything in a situation because he's been there. He's done it.
Hold up. Now I want you to start with a puck, exchange with this guy in the neutral zone, and go straight down. Start with a puck, exchange in the neutral zone, and then go straight down, okay? Here we go. Here we go. At the end here, Reeser wanted the D's. I don't know what he's working with the goaltenders or something. I'm just going to take the forwards and cycle them in the corners a little bit again, because I think we'll, tonight we'll be able to, from what these guys say, be able to work on these guys like that.
Scouting report.
Exactly.
Deep and grind it.
Exactly.
He wants everybody to, go out there and play, their style, not to get too nervous, and make mistakes, but, you're always going to make mistakes. So he's very calm about, the game, and doesn't really stress too much about anything.
Tonight we want to get the puck in deep and work these guys down low, all right? Use our size down low on that. So we'll go through a few of these. Goaltenders, you guys switch in and out whenever you need your shots and stuff, and then we'll get out of here, okay? Throw me a few pucks out there, Seuss, please. Start on your sides there, okay? The centerman here, and then the wingers on each side, okay? Same, we'll do 3 cycles. Well, you know what, we'll go through it. First time, make 2 cycles, 2 bump backs and a pass. Second time, we'll go 3, okay? 2 cycles and then a shot. Way to work, boys. That's it, man, that's it. Come to win tonight, eh, boys? Come to win tonight.
At this camp here with these young kids and that, I want to help them to have a good experience here. A lot of them, it's their first pro experience. So they need to have a good experience as far as feeling good about themselves, feeling good about what they accomplished here, and going back, say, to junior, if that's where they're going, and continuing on with that. The pros that come with me to Springfield, I'll talk to them in a little bit different manner because they need to be toughened up a little bit and stuff. And as we go along in Springfield, also toughened up a little bit more. So it's a combination of things, depending on the person, depending on what you're explaining to them. And, but basically the overall gist of things is to help them prepare to be in the NHL.
How do you feel like in the, down low in the corners and that? You feel strong? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, when you're down in the corners and then be a little stronger and you know what I mean? Be a little more physical and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because you're a big guy and stuff like that, Sure. And then, do what you can do out there, though, too, Like, you're a good offensive player and that. Don't be afraid to grab it and go with it and skate with it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you see the pass, so make it right away, especially in our end. But if you want to go with it, take it and go. Show what you can do. You know what I mean? But you feel good? Yeah. Good. Do it good. How'd you feel about the game the other night? You feel like you played all right?
Yeah, a few things I recognize.
Well, there's always. That's part of the game, mistakes. Yeah. Played good though. You competed hard. Same way. Keep working at it and that. Keep driving and that. I thought you really, when the intensity of the game kind of picked up, you met the challenge, which was good out of all our players on the bench. And I thought you stepped up and met the challenge, and that's important. So keep going the same way. Keep working at it. Attaboy.
There's certain things that we expect as an organization, that we expect from our players, that we expect them to compete when they're out there. Every time, as I mentioned, every time they pull on the Tampa Bay uniform, they're representing the Tampa Bay city, the Tampa Bay team, and our organization. So we expect them to play, perform, and act in a certain way. And if that's not accomplished, then they have to know about it.
As recently as 3 years ago, a top prospect at camp like this would have enjoyed a legitimate shot at playing in the NHL for the Lightning sooner rather than later. But the days of getting to Tampa on potential alone have all but disappeared, now that the roster is loaded with some of the most talented players in professional hockey. Despite these long odds, the organization and its future stars are still focused on the ultimate goal.
In Ryan's case, at the time he was drafted, who had ever thought the Tampa Bay Lightning were going to be Stanley Cup champions in '04? We have a strong organization. A lot of progress has been made in the last couple of years due to development. In Ryan's case, now knowing that he's competing for a roster spot on the Stanley Cup team would only make him better.
The Lightning is a great fit for myself, and I think just for anybody. I think anybody can fit into the Lightning system. It's just a matter of buying into the team concept and finding your niche on the team. I mean, they do have superstars, but they also have players that play their role, and that's the reason they get the job done every night. And for me, it was an exciting time with the Lightning, and their team on the rise. I mean, they're still on the rise. They won the Stanley Cup, and they still want to win it again and again, and that's the great thing about this team.
Makes me want to get there, sooner. It's a great club, and I'm going to do everything I can in my, my skill and my play to, one day put that jersey on and play for them.
Maybe it's easier for them because they have to prepare better. It's automatic now that they'll be thinking, I've got to be at my best. So in a way, I think that it kind of cuts to the chase, and they don't have a false sense of security where they're thinking, the Lightning are doormats, I should get a pretty good shot at it, and maybe cut a few corners here or there. The way it's shaping up now, they've got to be at their best, or they're just not going to get a chance. So they've got to do their best.
I played, exceptionally a little better, we played well out there as a team, but, my performance, I may have played maybe the same, I wasn't really playing that physical tonight, but, we tend to hit the back of net, tonight and set up some guys. But we all played good as a team together, and I'm looking forward for Tuesday's game.
My main goal was summer was to train hard and come into here and do my best. And I wanted to work my hardest. And I said if I did that and I played both ways, the points would come and I'd help the team. And so far it's been happening. I've been happy with my game, and it's shown in the score sheet for me and for the team. And that's great. We're going to the finals on Tuesday, and hopefully we can get the win.
Always be better. But we're playing well as a team. We're getting the job done, and that's the main thing. We're winning. So I can improve. I know that, but we're getting the win, so we're fine.
With more practices and games still to come in Traverse City, Craig knows there's no escaping the critical eye of management or the fact that there's still plenty of work to do before he reaches his full potential.
I'll be very honest. I hope that Ryan's skating ability continues to progress and that his skating ability continues to move to get him to a legitimate NHL skater, because if that's the case, he's going to play in the National Hockey League for a long time, and I think he's going to be a captain in the National Hockey League for a long time.
The quickness from this league in the American League to the NHL is a big step. And that's going to be one of the obstacles for Ryan. And it's up to him, as I mentioned. We're going to give him the tools to do the things that he needs to make the NHL. It's up to him to take those strides, make those steps, put in the work. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work for any player to make it from, say, the American League to the NHL. But I think that Ryan's the type of person that's very willing to put in that work, and we expect him to do just fine with it.
I think all our staff knows what it takes to be a Tampa Bay Lightning player. One is commitment to the team and not self-needs, and a player that plays with heart and passion, that loves to play. It's very, very simple. And yes, there's some talent out there. Sometimes talent is passed because the heart and effort is not in there. In the case of Ryan, he does have some talent. Maybe not as much talent as some of the players that was drafted the very same year, but the heart and passion to play is there.